Variety was curious what dating advice Pete Davidson would give to young men today. Pete said, I think social media and the internet and the phone makes everything really difficult. It can cause a lot of anxiety and get you doing bad. We're not supposed to see everyone's stuff all day. It used to be when someone found out something, you'd either call on your house phone or you met up and be like, hey, did you hear about this? Now you have this thing in your pocket all day that'll make you feel bad. So my advice would be to try and not let social media or this fictitious world that we're all trying to have a profile on affect how you behave in everyday life. We're not supposed to know everything all the time. That's what dating is. Get to know someone and fall in love. And that's what's so beautiful about it. So I think when it comes to dating, it should be more prehistoric and not on the phone or Instagram. Nikki Glaser was at the Time 100 Summit in New York last week. It has kicked up a story about the time Nikki cut a joke from the roast of Caitlyn Jenner. Nikki didn't tell the joke, but Variety reminds us that in 2019, Nikki shared the joke with Howard Stern. The joke, Caitlyn Jenner, what a beautiful woman. You killed with your car 4 years ago. You're a woman who can't menstruate, but still manages to have blood on her hands. There was an incident back in 2015. I'm here on NBC News. The headline, Caitlyn Jenner won't be charged in fatal February car accident. California prosecutor said there was insufficient evidence to charge Jenner in a fatal multi-car accident on the Pacific Malibu Highway. Glaser said she was nervous about performing material about the car crash and asked Comedy Central, could she give Jenner a warning? The network was like, no, don't do that. She might back out. Jenner heard about the joke anyway. As Nikki tells it, Jenner said, if there's a joke like that, I don't want to be part of it. As soon as I heard that, I go, okay, I'll take it out. I just needed to hear it from her. Glaser said she'll gladly take out jokes that make subjects uncomfortable. She got that advice from Jimmy Kimmel, who said, if you're worried about a joke and how it's going to go over, just ask them. Josh Johnson got a really nice profile from Rolling Stone. There's a lot of good buzz on Josh, and people are really digging what he's doing, and he's putting out a lot of material. Josh says, I'm hopefully showing enough range and building enough trust with the audience over time that I can talk about anything, even if I don't get to everything. He's got a busy week. Mondays, he records the Josh Johnson Show. It's his podcast. On Tuesdays, he uploads a timely set to YouTube, and he works on The Daily Show Monday through Thursday. In 2019, he opened for Trevor Noah. They spent 3 years on the road together. Josh says Trevor taught him how to balance a grueling day job with stand-up. His mentorship has really helped me in navigating the moment that I'm in and the moment that I'm expecting. Josh pushed back on the word breakout and said a breakout is what George Carlin did when he went from hippy-dippy weatherman to George Carlin. A breakout is when Richard Pryor ditched the suit and the tie and the fresh cut and the Tonight Show act. A breakout has to be deeply personal. It has to be you knowing for yourself that there's a limit that was a ceiling and is now a floor. Love it. Josh is aiming for bigger and more spectacle-like shows. He wants people to go home thinking, I've never seen somebody do that before. He's also doing good when he's out there. During a recent stop in Cincinnati, $5,000 from ticket sales were donated to a nearby animal shelter. That's awesome. Josh says, what I enjoy about doing The Daily Show is the collaborative aspect. In stand-up, you get to see my most raw feelings on a subject. On The Daily Show, you see my efforts contributing to the larger effort of everyone that works there, both in front and behind the camera. With his own shows, there's no way to know if he's meeting the moment until he's up there and taking his best shot. Are you in the UK? Go see Sarah Silverman. She's at the Palladium tonight. She talked about her past and says her persona back then was consciously ignorant, arrogant, and that it's less charming in the days when our president is that. Send your letters to Sarah Silverman. She has disavowed some jokes she made back then, including the notorious sketch on the Sarah Silverman program that she performed in blackface. Sarah explains, some comics are like, never apologize, and my rule is always apologize when you're sorry and never apologize when you're not. So simple. I felt sorry. To be the same person creatively as you were 20 years ago doesn't feel like success to me. I like being part of the world around me, learning new stuff and being changed by it. Comics who are still doing that thing or voice or personality they had when they got famous, that's such a bummer. She gives a lot of credit to Chris Rock, explaining how Rock helped her after she had to develop new material following her 2005 special Jesus is Magic. I was scared. I didn't want to bomb on stage again. I had a real identity crisis. Rock, brave enough to go to the Comedy Cellar where everyone's going to go bananas when he walks in and then fully disappoint them because he's trying out new stuff. You lose people, but hopefully you gain people, and some people grow along with you. Some people are like, remember when she was funny? That's none of my business. All I have is this one life, and I'm navigating it as I see fit. Now, I keep seeing these Bowen Yang interviews, and I feel like he's done with SNL, but Bowen Yang was quite clear that he is not done with SNL. Bowen was talking with Amy Poehler and would like SNL to be able to say the S word and the F word, explaining S and F are so comedically powerful as words. I think it would help us. His premise is that SNL should be able to say the S word 5 times and the F word 5 times during a season, and that it would bring a sketch to the next level and make it so you'd be able to know this is the real world, not sketch reality. I'll personally disagree, but he's on SNL and I'm an idiot in the basement recording a podcast. Amy liked the idea, and she said, I think you can monetize this. Why don't you have a competition and people can vote like American Idol as to which cast member gets to say the S and the F? Yang said that would work as a fundraiser for our FCC fines. Bowen was on The View, and he talked about the headline, quote, I'm leaving the show at some point. Yang said, it's like me saying that I might die someday or might go get a coffee on a Wednesday. It's so general. Someone asked me, maybe trying to get a headline, and all I gave them was, at some point. But then he was very clear. This is all to say I will not be leaving anytime soon. So all good, don't worry. Houston Public Media caught up with Tom Papa, and they were curious what he does with his downtime. And Tom says it's not that much time. After being on the road for so long, you realize if I have 3 hours on the ground, I can get a lot done. I'm not going to a museum, but I'll find great food and coffee. That's the real treat. I'll hit the ground and just start asking people. I'm the annoying guy in the airport like, so where do you eat? They were curious for Tom how comedy changed over the years. Tom said, I had this kind of fortunate timing. When I started comedy, the comedy boom had busted. It was the 90s, and all these clubs, everyone kept telling me this is a horrible time to start comedy because the clubs are closing and the bottom fell out. But over the long haul, comedy's never been bigger and more popular and more wanted by the public than it is now. Public Media said the worst time for being a stand-up must have been the pandemic. And Tom said, yeah, I was very proud of comedians during that time because everything shut down, touring came to a halt. But comedians were doing anything they could to perform. They were starting shows in parks. They were doing them on Zoom. And then the clubs were starting to open. They'd have half the audience they normally have. But it felt like an important time to do comedy because we were isolated. And the best thing about comedy is it makes you feel less alone. It makes you drive around and you think, am I the only one who feels this way? Or is it just my own anxieties and my family's driving me crazy? And am I the only one going through this? And then when you're in an audience in a comedy club and someone's talking about the thing that drives you crazy and the whole audience is laughing and relating, you actually realize you're not the only one going through this. And during the pandemic, that was so important. And the spokesman caught up with Randy Feldface. Do you know Randy Feldface? I love Randy Feldface. Randy's current tour is First Banana, which explores the idea that global evolution should have stopped when the first banana appeared 10,000 years ago. Randy says the show has changed a lot from last year's version because he factors in the audience. The audience will tell me what's funny, what's boring, and what's unnecessary to get to the point where, like, what's most entertaining for me? Because I want to enjoy doing the show every night. It's a pretty tight 60-minute banana lecture with a lot of very silly side steps. I'm lucky in that I'm unique looking, and you revel in the silliness of it all. There's so much fun to be had at the moment. I know this probably comes up a lot, but now is not the time for taking things too seriously. So if I can have an hour of mostly silliness, then I hope people are able to appreciate that and enjoy that given the times that we're in. He says it's a double-edged sword being a puppet. People can forget pretty quickly what I look like, and they don't give me a hall pass if I say something they find unpleasant or controversial. I think there's definitely something in there that can maybe soften the message a bit, but generally if I say something that creates waves, people let me know about it. And that is your comedy news for today. If you've never seen Randy Feldface, check out Randy Feldface. See you tomorrow.